Everybody, I'm Lorelai. This is David, my husband. We are trying to do a reviews in the movie called Richard Jewell. This story is based on the Centennial Park bombing on July 26, 1996 at Atlanta, Georgia. This is a big news on the American history that there's a two people died and 156
Injured.
was injured. So I'm going to ask David what he think before he watched, what he knows about this story before we watch the movie.
Well, I was, probably in my 30s at the time when that's happened. So I remember it very well. That's why I wanted to see the movie. I remember it very well. And it was big news, national news, world news about a bombing during a Summer Olympics. So it was a big deal in the United States.
So who's Richard Jewell as you heard, not from what you saw in the movie?
Well, what I remember about Richard Jewell was he was the security guard who found the bomb. In the beginning, they considered him a hero, and then shortly therefore after, they tried to make him out to be the bomber. And then, if I remember, as time went on, they found out that he wasn't the bomber.
Then you mentioned that the guy was having an issue of the big health issue regarding on his life was changed and he died, right?
Yeah, I remember a blurb in the news when he died back in like 2005 or 2007 that he passed away from a heart condition.
Yeah. So what he said is the story flipped from the hero to the suspect of the bombing. So now we will talk about what's really happening on the movie. So is there any changes that what you learned from what you've been knowledge about of this issue?
Well, first let me say that it was a Clint Eastwood movie, and his movies are always excellent. And he told the story, the background story, the story of the bombing and the aftermath, everything that Richard Jewell and his mother went through. Yeah, there's a lot I learned. I learned one that he had a mother. I don't ever remember the mother in the news, but his mother was greatly affected. I didn't realize there was collusion or a little bit of shadiness going on with what the FBI did and what the media did to Richard Jewell. So that was kind of sad to really see that the media intentionally to sell the news really laid into him difficult and hard, made it bad. So
before we went to the movie, David told me something about it. Then what I've learned that the guy didn't die directly, like a few years, or just recently died because of the issue. He been married with 2 kids and he died on 2007. So from 88 days being accused of that bombing issue, it was resolved after 88 days that they have a summon from the government that he is clear. Imagine that, guys, like 88 days, like every day looks like a year for you guys that you've been accused. All the people that they cannot walk their own yard because there's a paparazzi and newscaster or reporter everywhere to dig, and they said that they put a video hidden in their own house.
Yeah, the FBI actually planted bugs inside of this guy's house, hoping to catch him talking about how he did the bombing. It's a very good movie and a very sad story. The Richard Jewell was one of those type of guys that was a very
honest,
and
very cooperative and helpful because he was the law enforcement.
Yeah, and he may be the reason why a lot of Americans don't trust the government anymore, because He thought he was helping and doing the best he could, and they just kept trying to nail him to the wall.
Yeah, they're frying them every bit. They're what he said. They change into a negative thingy. So just come to think that you talk nicely about helping this, and the people who's listening to you, you think it's your friend, but this the one who's interpreting in other side of your story. So there's a lot as I'm been here in America for a while and doing those the rules of American. There's a lot of human rights that the FBI um, cross the line on inside of his home. They will take advantage of her innocent and being helpful. They think that his mind is low IQ, that they're taking like while his lawyer's busy, they grab him and do the interrogation on his house, and they do the filming, the recording, and when they force him that he think that there's something wrong, then that's the part that they concentrated. He's not cooperating, he's doing this, but the real is very cooperative, and that's what started. He has a heartache with all those issues because his mother is the one who really more affection or is more impact, big impact on what is happening to his son. I think he's the only son.
Yeah. Richard Jewell was a guy who was raised in southern Georgia. And if you know anything about America, if you're raised in the South, I'm not saying that other Americans aren't, but Southerners are more like Filipinos. They're very polite and courteous. Mm-hmm. And this gentleman, he may have not had the highest IQ in the world, but he believed it was, just good manners to be nice and respectful and answer questions. And his attorney had to keep telling him, look, they're not your friends. The police are not your friends. They're acting like that to hang you, to send you to prison, to send you to death. And so that took some time for him to get through. And I think it broke his heart that people that he considered members of the extended family, the law enforcement family, went after him so hard. And it showed that he was having heart troubles, and he later died at the age 44 of heart disease.
Yeah.
But the good thing was he was exonerated. I'm sure his life never went back to normal, but he did serve out, some years as a police officer. So he did get to have a career in the field that he really loved and enjoyed.
Yeah, after 6 years from the bombing, that's the time that they just found out the real one, who
Rudolph.
who himself turned off himself to the government, that he's the person that responsible of the Centennial Park bombing.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Eric Rudolph was, and I remember this back from that time, he was captured and he admitted to the bombing. The funny thing is, or the sad thing is, nobody in law enforcement or the media ever came out and apologized to Richard Jewell for the hell they put him through for 3 months, which is sad. It's sad.
I think the mother do the conference to call, is that Bill Clinton?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To do to clear, because one thing is they keep digging, and I think it's harassing, because now in a law now you cannot investigate really harassing or getting a sample of DNA and everything if you don't have really a warrant, and they get everything on their house, whatever they can find, and they're watching him every second, but he's don't have any charges for him. So come to think about this, only 1997. It's not that far from this year that they do all those investigations. It looked like humiliating.
Yeah, it was humiliating.
Yeah, it's so bad. I mean, even the job that he's working before, who did the violence, but they accuse him taking advantage that he's the bad guy. Even he's the guy that following the rules and regulation, but since the media turn into upside down, and it's, you can really make it cry overall. So what you can tell?
Here's my recap, and let me touch on something Lorelai said earlier. You know, in America, America is a great country, and we do have a lot of rights, but there is no question that our law enforcement agencies and our government will impede upon those rights in a heartbeat if they think that it's what they want to do. Not that it's right or they have a legal basis for it. They will just do it, and they'll make your life live in hell in America if they choose to, which is wrong.
And when you find it wrong, they don't know
They don't-
anything.
They just, well, whatever.
They're just like, oh, it's stuff from here and that's it, you're clear. But
So it is a great country, the United States is, but we have a lot of problems and issues here too. But back to the film. Anyway, Clint Eastwood's a great director. He's a great actor, and I love his movies, and I think as a director, he's fabulous. I think the movie was really good. It was really sad movie. I would highly encourage anybody to go watch it. I think it's definitely worth the time, and the little bit of money we paid for it wasn't much. And the acting was really good. Kathy Bates is the mother. Kathy Bates is a fantastic actress. Now, I didn't know the guy who played Richard Jewell, but from what I remember, he played him to a T. It made me think back of the 90s when he was in the media. This guy, the actor, did. Made me think, wow, that's him.
they really like do every word that was captured in the media before. Like the actor is doing it, every word is specified. Every time he speaks, it's really like deep in your heart.
Yeah.
Like somebody stab you really, I mean,
His
slowly.
his mannerisms.
Yeah, you can see like he's really innocent. How this government just ruined. Maybe if he's become a politics or a rich guy, or not, he's a big guy, so they just can't say nothing on it. But
Well, part of the problem was Richard Jewell was, you know, maybe his own worst enemy just because he was such of a nice guy and he wanted to be in law enforcement, and he was a single white male living with his mother. So the FBI automatically says, oh, single white males live with their mothers. There's something wrong with that. And the fact that he wanted to be in law enforcement, you know, it's like, oh, well, he's definitely fits the profile of the lone bomber.
yeah, and
But-
he has a score of 98 over 100 of the shooting.
Marksmanship.
Yeah, the one, you know, when you shoot on the testing, yeah, he got 98 over 100. So that's make them. And when they raid their house, they have a lot. He has a lot of guns.
Yeah, which look, folks, it's normal in the South to have guns.
Yeah, because he
I'm
lives
telling
in
you.
Georgia.
Well, in America, we have guns everywhere.
They
And
use their
I mean,
for.
everywhere.
They use this for hands. As long as you have a. What's this? Now, since there's a lot of people doing those killing or massacre now, they have a legal of what kind of a firearms that you can carry in your house or everywhere. But before, you can have anything you can, or any
Yeah.
arm that you want.
All right, so my end comment would be, go watch it. It was worth watching. I give it an A+.
Yeah, it really changed what you think about the government and the news that playing this role on this
Yeah, the
very
media.
heroic and touching movie of the Richard Jewell. Alright guys, please watch this movie. It's really helpful for the future of everything, you know. So thank you for watching, and
Take care.